Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always.
What's up? What's up?
Tomorrow we got a Thursday night football game. Figured we preview.
It is a game.
It's a football game.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, it's an NFL football game.
Might not be a super entertaining one, but
yeah. We'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's the most entertaining game we've seen.
It's true. Yeah, it's those Thursday night ones.
Based on the really bad teams having success the last couple of weeks. Who knows? Maybe that could happen. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna give you a Thursday night preview for this show. Before we jump into our starts and sits, before we jump into our buys and sells for the week and start constructing your lineup, we'll just give you a short little preview of Thursday Night Football. Before we do that, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and the other podcasting platforms, please share this podcast with your friends and then leave a review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like and comment down below any questions you may have. You know what I was thinking about? Remember last week when I incorrectly said... Well, see, I don't even know. I didn't check. I didn't check to see if I incorrectly said the matchup for the game, even though you insisted that I said the Rams.
I don't remember now, but I'm pretty sure you said the wrong team.
Yeah. So and then legit on TikTok, I made a TikTok. It takes so long. My brain for some reason on Sunday morning typed out Raiders instead of what was it? Who was Robert Woods playing? It was the Bills, right?
Yeah.
I typed out the Raiders instead of the Bills.
Yeah, I don't know where that came. Oh, that's because they're playing the Raiders
the following
next week.
Yeah. So yeah. I typed out the wrong thing based on my opinions on the Bills. And anyway, so I've been having a tough week when it comes to these matchups. So today I've decided that I'm going to be on point. And if I screw up saying this, I quit. could be real bad. But anyway, are you ready to jump into the Thursday preview?
Let's do it. Can we say the teams?
The teams are the Steelers at the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, let me just confirm to make sure that is correct.
You didn't
and
have
congratulations,
it queued up
Morgan. That is correct.
That is correct. I knew it. See, I was right all along.
Yeah, you were.
I specifically checked.
It was me that was wrong.
I specifically checked to make sure that I didn't completely screw that up. This game, this should be a short show.
Well, you don't want to talk about Jacoby Brissett versus the Steelers and that high-powered offense of theirs.
Mitch Trubisky against the Browns.
Oh,
there is some fantasy.
This is a great defensive stream week. But
I'm going to preface this. So the over-under for this game is 40.5, which is low scoring. That is hoping that one side scores over 20 points. Thursday night football games typically, now that we're like, this is week 3, by the way, can we, I was actually, somebody told me that Thursday night football was not going to be on television unless it was a local broadcast. So like, for us, Patriots, probably CBS, but they would broadcast the Thursday night football game for the local network, the local area where that team plays.
Mm-hmm.
But for the rest of us, we don't get that, which is what we got last year. Thursday night football, I don't remember what network had it, but we got to watch it on regular television on a TV channel. Now it is exclusively on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you checked through all of the Amazon Prime games, like options that they have. They have a Hispanic broadcast. They have the regular broadcast. They have this new I can't remember, advanced analytics all 22 coaches film. So you listen to the announcers, but you watch it on the all 22 film.
That's really interesting. Kind of cool, actually.
So there are a lot of different stuff, a lot of different ways you can watch the football game with Thursday Night Football. So that is really interesting. But anyway, so we're going to be able to watch this game in a lot of different ways, even if it's terrible.
I might try that this week, all 22.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Got a lot of analytics on it, too. It gives you percentages of if a guy can catch a ball or not. It has the game probabilities, all kinds of stuff. It's kind of cool. But anyway, this is not an ad for Amazon Prime.
No.
It's not. But this game, there is some fantasy-relevant matchups. So obviously we get to talk about some guys that we haven't yet had to have a conversation about earlier in the season. So that'll be good just to get caught up on some of these guys. But I don't know how amazing these performances are going to be from some of these players. So bear with us as we go through this disgusting game. This probably isn't the worst one of the season.
No, but it's probably in the top 5.
Yeah, probably. So we'll start with the Steelers and go to the Browns. What say you? Does that sound good?
Sure. Let's do it like that. Sure.
All right. So for a quarterback, we already had some chance last Sunday. Mitch Trubisky threw a dump-off pass to a running back, and he got lit up in the backfield. And all of a sudden, I start hearing, Pickett. And I'm like, they're already calling for Kenny Pickett. And I want to see it. I was actually hoping Trubisky didn't do too bad on Sunday so the Patriots didn't have to deal with Kenny Pickett because he would have totally come in and lit us up for whatever purpose. But Mitch Trubisky's really bad at football. No, that's harsh.
It is a little harsh.
He's marginally.
I love Mitch off the field. He's a great guy, but
that's never a good thing to say. Love this guy off the field.
Yeah, dude. He's bad. Like if I was Mike Tomlin, Kenny Pickett would be starting on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's gonna probably be Mitch Trubisky still, and don't start him. He's not worth a start.
No. I agree.
Not really much to say about that.
Yeah, the quarterback play for this team, what I'd be watching for fantasy purposes if they bench Mitch, how good Kenny Pickett is. And if he
even just football purposes, I'd be interested.
Yeah, it would be for just on a football purpose, but for fantasy wise too. Like I have him in Dynasty.
Oh, if Pickett's good, that means Deontay, Claypool.
Oh yeah, it's just
even Pickens might have some value.
I don't know why we're waiting.
Right?
Was Pickett that bad?
I hope not,
because he was good in the preseason. I saw some good things.
Yeah, let's see.
And there was enough there to be like, all right, we're going to give.
He's
Mitch
the only quarterback in this class that probably has hope, other than maybe Malik Willis.
He's one of those guys, one of those quarterbacks that, like Mitch Trubisky's one of those guys that, like, he had some flashes. Like he does make some really good throws. It was
Trubisky has talent,
two-point
natural talent.
A 2-point conversion against the Patriots this Sunday where he threw it to Deontay Johnson in this wicked tight window, and it's just like sometimes
beautiful throw.
He makes
there was a throw too to Deontay, I think before halftime maybe.
Oh, it was on the sideline
where the Patriots were just playing back, like they were just letting them move down the field, and he threw it down the sideline. Yeah, and it was like a dot, 20 yards right on his chest.
Then he'll just be plays where it's just like, what are you doing, bro? So I don't know. But he's not even a waiver wire option, like not even a streaming option. No. So yeah, he shouldn't be anywhere near your lineup. The running back position, very interesting. Najee Harris had a tough week this week, running up against that Patriots front seven.
And he was battling that foot injury, right?
Yeah, and he was battling the foot injury. So a lot of concerns there, but if you drafted him in the first round, you're probably starting him. He had 15 rushing attempts for 49 yards, 5 catches for 40 yards on Sunday. So he's getting the opportunity.
I mean, PPR, like he gets his 5 catches a week. If he does that rest of the season, he'll be okay.
If it's a tough matchup against the Browns, but I think he'll be fine.
You got to start Najee though if he's on your team.
You got to do that. Any other running backs for the Steelers you want to talk about?
No, it's just Najee Harris. But yeah, I think what he did against New England, he'll probably have a similar game against Cleveland. Okay.
So there is a 3 wide receivers that we have to talk about for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson is a high enough draft selection early in the season to be like, all right, this guy probably has to be in your lineup, and I'm not even considering sitting him. But what was he, a top 5 round pick?
He was like a 4th or 5th.
But early in the season, he has had 10. He hasn't gotten a touchdown yet because the Steelers just aren't efficient offensively, but he's had 22 targets in 2 games.
Yep.
So he's got to be on your in your starting lineup.
Yeah, if you have a stacked team and you want to bench him, fine. But I think he's good, and he's got a good floor. Like he's got the targets. I don't know if he gets a touchdown again, but I think he's in for another 13-point week, which is fine. It's fine. Nothing to be excited about, but
yeah. I think that's just the Steelers.
It's not bad. He's not bad.
No, he's not a bad start this week. What are your thoughts on Chase Claypool?
As long as Mitch Trubisky is quarterback, I'm out on Claypool. He should not be in your starting lineup.
That is aggressive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I felt before the season. There were 2 games. That's how I feel now. And it's not that he's a bad player. It's just like if he's getting 6 targets,
yeah,
and it's coming from Mitch Trubisky, I'm not starting him.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think there is situations where if you had to start him against a good matchup, this week against Cleveland probably is not good because they do have a good defense, but
even in a good matchup, dude, at this point,
he provides touchdown upside. He's a guy like Freiermuth who they would target in the red zone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's fair.
If you wanted to start him in your flex, but
when Kenny Pickett's the starter, come back to me.
This week, Chase Claypool should not be in your starting lineup. And then George Pickens, who had an incredible preseason.
Oh yeah, he was supposed to be the guy,
losing
right?
It. He had a catch this week, or 3. He had 1 catch for 23 yards.
1 catch.
3
1 catch
points.
in week 1 too.
I
can't believe people drafted him in redraft as high as they did because of his great camp. It's did you forget Mitch Trubisky was the quarterback?
Some people,
and that he was the wide receiver 3 on the team.
I am amazed by I was watching Sunday. I was watching NFL Network. But you wake up. You're in the East Coast. You wake up a hell of a lot earlier than people on the West Coast. People on the West Coast wake up at 9:00 and they watch football immediately, and I envy
That's
that.
crazy, actually.
But anyway, people on the East Coast, we got to wake up and we got to watch, pregame.
But
pregame doesn't start until 11 or maybe 11:30 for us. So we have to go to NFL Network and watch pregame on there. And so I was doing that, and they were giving fantasy advice, and they were saying that Davante Adams was a start of the week, and I was like, I don't want to call anyone out. But if you're making Davante Adams your start of the week, by the way, he got 9
start
points.
Of the week.
So
Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, what is that? He's a first round pick. You have to start him. That's not a start of the week. He probably should go off.
He got 9 points. And
he only had 9 points when they say that, so that's hilarious. But anyway, so I heard that and I'm like, maybe these people are onto something, because people in the fantasy community, they understand the basic premise, and we all talk about these second, third level guys, and some people take it too far. Somebody said my guy was KJ Osborne, and I'm like, bro, you're going too deep.
You're saying this pre-recorded, dude. KJ Osborne, Monday Night Football, 4 touchdowns.
I was talking about pre NFL season starting. But Pickens goes off in camp, and all of the people who buy into that garbage jumped on the Pickens train and started drafting him too high. And if you knew what this situation was, where they had Freiermuth, and they had Deontay Johnson, and they had Chase Claypool, they have Najee Harris. A lot of targets, not a lot of opportunity for Pickens. Great wide receiver, going to crush it in the NFL at some point. Extremely talented. Right now, not the time.
Yeah. Agreed. I love him in Dynasty. Go get him in Dynasty, but redraft him out, and I'm not starting him this week.
All right. At the tight end position, Freiermuth at this point's got to be in your starting lineup. I mean, he's a red zone target. He's got a lot of target share. Love Pat Freiermuth, dude. Would you rather have Pat Freiermuth or TJ Hawkinson the rest of the season? This is a long pause.
I don't know. That's close. they're in the same the
vicinity,
same tier. Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, might be Freiermuth, but what if Pickett comes in and starts slinging it?
Right now, Pat Freiermuth ranked as the tight end 9. TJ Hawkinson ranked as the tight end. Hold on a second. That's not rest of the season. Freaking A. Freiermuth is ranked as the tight end 11, and Hawkinson's the tight end 8. So
I think Firemouth should be higher than 11 at this point.
yeah, I agree. I think he's hamstrung by Mitch and
he is. Yeah, he is. I don't know. That's a good debate though. Firemouth or Hawk.
All right, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns, divisional opponent,
Oh, yeah.
divisional rival. Yeah. Jacoby Brissett starting another game for this team. They're carrying 4 quarterbacks right now.
Hey, Brissett has not been awful. He hasn't been good, but he has not been awful. That's all I'm going to say.
He's been like, if you had to rank NFL quarterbacks, he's been just above.
He's not been the 5 worst quarterbacks in the league.
He is right where Davis Mills
which is what I expected. Yeah.
They're carrying 4 quarterbacks, by the way.
That is interesting.
Kellen Mond, Josh Dobbs, Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson. What are you people doing? Like you're going to need Kellen Mond on a particular week. When did Kellen Mond leave the Vikings? That's the real question here.
They cut him.
They got rid of him real quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, any streamable upside to Jacoby Brissett?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, he is the QB 18 on the season. This is before Monday night, though, so I don't know if that counts like Hurts and Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen. But yeah. I mean, he had 43 rushing yards this week, so maybe super deep 2 quarterback leagues. Go ahead, but no.
Maybe.
No.
But I would say no to 1 quarterback leagues in any format that has 1 quarterback, he shouldn't even be on your team. So
no, 100%.
I am totally out. It kind of blows that this game has no quarterbacks that are interesting. Like that's why I really hope Kenny Pickett comes in. But Mike Tomlin's stubborn. He's about as stubborn as Bill Belichick. So
this is probably going to be one of my least favorite games to watch so far this year, and I'm still going to watch it because it's football.
All right, 2 running backs to talk about. First off, Nick Chubb. You drafted him in the first 2 rounds. You're probably starting him, but Rick, I would like a public apology to me because you were so far out on Nick Chubb. It wasn't even funny.
I know.
I don't even know how it happens. Like you are the Nick Chubb guy, and you said I'm out, and I said nah, he's gonna be good. All they're gonna do is run the ball with him, and you're like, it's not gonna be efficient though, and he's averaging like 5.7 yards per carry right now.
I will say, okay,
there's no excuse.
They've played 2 horrible teams. Like they haven't played a good team yet.
That is fair. That's totally.
But looking at their schedule, they got a pretty easy schedule until Watson gets back.
Atlanta,
so like
Chargers,
I don't know.
Pittsburgh,
maybe this
Jets,
continues.
Carolina,
and if it does, I will. That I owe everybody an apology because Nick Chubb. It makes it worse because I was a Nick Chubb guy. It was in my Twitter bio. I'm a big Nick Chubb guy, big Chubb guy.
He says was. It's not there anymore.
No, I took it out.
The Chubb stand leaves,
and all of a sudden he gets 32 fantasy points. Now I did play him in a DFS lineup. Didn't win whatsoever because I also had Jerry Jeudy in that lineup.
And Trey Lance.
And Trey Lance. I had Trey Lance in every DFS lineup this week, and so that should tell you. But which makes it even more frustrating because I got guys like Nick Chubb and Christian Kirk.
Okay.
And so it was tough. But I thought Nick Chubb was going to have a good look. He against teams like the Jets, where they're still going to be in control for most of the game. Chubb's going to still do good. It's just like for example, week 1 against Carolina. 141 rushing yards, 6 yards a carry. Ridiculous. Like, in real football, absolutely ridiculous. He only had 15 fantasy points because he had 1 catch for 2 yards.
Yeah.
So, like, I will still give you an apology. I was wrong about Nick Chubb. You should have drafted him. But
he was literally like the 13th, 14th running back.
He's literally the RB1 in all of fantasy right now through 2 weeks. But that was probably because he had 3 touchdowns this week.
Yeah.
So, I don't think... Like in PPR leagues, he's still gonna be that top 5 guy, but he's still a very good player.
Yeah, and he is still splitting snaps with Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt had 56% snap percentage week 1, 46 in week 2.
It's because Hunt's out there.
I was also gonna mention too for Nick Chubb and for Kareem Hunt. This also matches. You have Carolina, New York Jets, Pittsburgh easy matchup, Atlanta easy matchup, Chargers mediocre. New England hard matchup, Baltimore after last week, I don't even know. And then you have Cincinnati. So I would say the good majority of those games are easier. Then you have the bye week in week 9. Week 10, they go up against Miami, Buffalo, and then Tampa Bay. Tough matchups for all three of those games. And then he comes back week 13, Deshaun Watson against Houston for your fantasy frickin' playoffs. So I think Nick Chubb is great rest of season. I think he's going to be an RB1, and he'll be totally fine. As far as Kareem Hunt is concerned, solid mid-range RB2. Like, I kind of want to reach out, in multiple leagues and see what the Kareem Hunt owner wants for him, because if you get him, you can stick him in your flex and get, around 10 fantasy points and the potential of a touchdown in, a big week. So, and in PPR, he's he gets a lot of target share. So Kareem Hunt, this particular week against Pittsburgh, I would run Nick Chubb, I would run Kareem Hunt, and I would be totally confident about it.
Yeah. I'm with you on Hunt. Wish I had him in more leagues. He was, again, I was just kind of scared of the Browns offense, and should have been more in on Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Because he's solid, and I would start him this week in your flex spot, especially teams that need running backs. Kareem Hunt is like a perfect just RB2. He's not going to, I don't think, going to be great, but he'll get you those like 15 fantasy points, and he'll be solid.
All right, let's talk about the worst wide receiver core in football outside of the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Amari Cooper, no.
Who had a monster week this week, the bounce back.
No freaking way. All right, so that begs the question. He had 25 points. Against Pittsburgh, he had 10 targets, 9 catches this week. Do we start him against Pittsburgh?
I would say no. So this is the problem with Cooper is, like, I think as long as Brissett is his quarterback, he's going to have a lot of bad weeks. And I'm just not willing to take the bet on him. He's another one of these inconsistent receivers.
Yeah. And
I think 25 is more of like his peak. What are the odds Jacoby Brissett throws for 300 yards?
0
this week. So if he's gonna throw for, let's say, like 200 yards,
you added 100 more than you needed to. What are the odds he throws 200?
Cooper did have 100 of his 229 yards, which is ridiculous, and I don't see that happening again. At least consistently. Like,
yes.
Amari Cooper is clearly their best receiver, so he's gonna have good weeks, but he's capped off by Jacoby Brissett. So in a game that's probably gonna be ugly, I'd rather not start Amari Cooper. I think he'll be okay. He'll still get some targets. Like, even week 1 when he didn't do good, he had 6 targets. So I think he gets like 6 or 7 targets, maybe even more. But I just don't like. I don't think he's going to touchdown. And then I don't think his efficiency will be as good. He had 9 catches on 10 targets. Don't think that happens again.
Yeah, I don't know that I roll him out in my starting lineup this week. Not that Pittsburgh's they do have a good secondary. So and their defense is pretty good, but I feel like, if he does this 2 weeks in a row and he has a lot of success, then I'm in on Cooper. Not in on Cooper as in like week to week, but like he's a guy
back on the train.
Not back on the train. He's a guy that you could probably play.
Yeah. Honestly, if you drafted Amari Cooper, though, you're more thinking like long term anyway.
Yeah. Donovan Peoples-Jones had 11 targets in week 1, 1 target in week 2, so he's basically non-existent.
I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, every single receiver in this receiver core outside of Amari Cooper is completely useless for fantasy football. So if you're watching, just enjoy the game and don't worry about those guys. At tight end, there's really one tight end right now that I would consider possibly, and that's David Njoku. Coming into the season, a lot of people thought he was going to get a lot of target share because Jacoby Brissett throws it to the tight end a lot. He had 1 target in week 1.
Apparently he doesn't.
5 targets in week 2. Against the Jets. He did improve and have a much better game, but I don't know what David Njoku provides. And going up against Pittsburgh on Thursday night, I don't really know what he can do at this point. So until you really see what David Njoku becomes in this offense with Jacoby Brissett, I really don't want to start him or roster him. If he gets another week where he gets 7-8 targets, he hasn't had a week with 7 or 8 targets, but if he starts getting weeks with 7 or 8 targets,
this could be the week.
This could be the week. Who knows? But I want to see it first before I decide I want to put him on my roster and potentially start him in a game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm out on Njoku. Harrison Bryant actually has more fantasy points through the first 2 weeks than David Njoku.
I was actually excited about Harrison Bryant when they drafted him because I think he's a good football player.
Yeah, but he just went into a team that had like two other tight ends.
And I was like,
he's not bad, but I'm not starting. I'm not.
Maybe the year 2 breakout we was looking for.
Yeah,
I'll wait till next year.
He could be a future breakout, but maybe when they get Watson next year. But
the amount of swings and misses that we've had with Cole Kmet. This is like 2 years.
I know, dude. We used to be so on tight ends, and then 2 straight years I've said Cole Kmet, and it's like single-handedly ruined my tight end.
Ruined takes. It. But anyway, any more thoughts about this particular football game?
I think that's really it.
Okay.
To be honest.
A very, very interesting and intriguing week. It should be the most boring football game, but it's football, and I'm not going to complain because football is here, and
I'll be rooting for Kenny Pickett to come in the game.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Kenny Pickett to come in the game too. So there is your fantasy relevant information for Thursday Night Football. Enjoy. We'll see you later this week.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.